How can I help you?
I just wanted to chat and see what your reasoning is for recording. I'm just curious.
You're a government official in the course of your duty, and I document that.
Nice, nice. Do you live around here?
I'm not going to answer that question.
Oh, okay. I completely support it. I was just curious.
Okay. Well, then you can understand that while you're wearing that badge and you start asking me questions, it very well could be fishing or something else.
Sure, yeah, I'm not at all. I was just curious if you live around here.
Now, can I be completely honest here and say I am positive that she's not being truthful and that she is in fact fishing? No, I cannot. And I'd be dishonest if I said I could be honest about that. I can tell you this. If someone has a bucket of 10 snakes and they tell you only 3 of them bite, but you should put your hand down in that bucket, I don't think you'd do it. I know I wouldn't do it. So I prefer to just keep my hand out of the bucket. And since their typical approach is what I say it is, in my opinion, fishing, escalating, etc., then I just prefer to keep my hand out of the bucket and keep myself on guard. So you can look at it multiple ways, but what are the odds, in your opinion, because I have my own, what are the odds that she's trying to see my eyes through my sunglasses and see if they're glassy or bloodshot, that she's trying to smell for narcotics, that she's trying to smell for alcohol, that she's watching my body language and watching, see my balance, etc. So what are the odds of that? Because, you know, in most cases it seems like today that that's all they're doing. She may be absolutely truthful, and I cannot say without a doubt she isn't. Maybe she really was just curious, or maybe she thought, you know what, he won't tell me where he lives. I'm going to get some information one way or another. Let's watch him. Let's see if I can articulate a smell. Let's see if I can articulate an activity, an action. Let's see if I can articulate some reason, some cause, some suspicion that allows me to dig deeper, interrogate more, reach into the pockets for a full search, detain him temporarily, demand ID. You never know. And like I said, there's so many of them in that profession now that are the snakes that'll bite you that I just think you need to keep your hand out of the bucket, and I think the bucket needs dumped out in the woods. And overall, I call the profession a domestic hostile occupying force, because no matter what, at the end of the day, they will enforce tyranny, they do enforce tyranny, and they will do what they're told. They will follow orders, and if and when called upon, they absolutely will violate the Constitution and your rights. And they'll use the tried and true excuse of, I was just following orders, or in their case, I was just doing my job.
I do now live around here, that's correct. I'll give you that.
Yeah, yeah.
And can I get
just being friendly.
You can tell me, or I can just record your name and badge number. Is it Brown?
Brown?
C. Brown?
Yep, C. Brown.
I won't call you Charlie Brown.
Okay, yeah. I get that joke all the time.
Okay, but yes, ma'am.
I was just curious and wanted to
I do this. You probably wouldn't like my YouTube page because I'm not a big cop supporter anymore. What I found today is you guys are being used as stormtroopers against we the people's rights.
Stormtroopers, huh?
Yeah, you are, whether you mean to be or not. But here's the deal. A lot of you are being put out on the street, and because of the tyranny that's going on in our government today at the top, they're writing laws that are causing you to have to infringe. And so if you do that, you can't claim I was just doing my job or I'm just following orders. That wasn't accepted in the Nuremberg trials, and I don't accept it today.
Okay.
But I don't dislike you as a person, but I think that when you're wearing that uniform, you're enforcing tyranny, because you will get called on to do so at some point. And the more laws they write, the more infringements in the right you have to detain, to infringe, to go into people's privacy. And I just don't support that. It's nothing against you personal. But
I always like to hear other people's opinion and how we can do our jobs better, because we're here for you, right? I'm not here.
I understand you say that, but you follow orders. And if you're told to do something, and it's a law, whether it's anti-constitutional or not, you're going to follow that order most likely. So that puts you in a position of being either a tyrant or a tyrant by extension, or a tyranny enforcer. And you can't help that. You either get your paycheck and you do what you're told, or you don't. So I understand that aspect of it. But at the same time, at a certain point, people have to stand up and say, even in your profession, some of you have to stand up and say, you know what, we're not doing this. We're not infringing on the things that made this country great, that our founders enshrined in the Constitution to remind government of we the people's rights. We're not going to infringe on that. And a lot of you won't do it. You either put your heads in the sand, you refuse to stand up, or you just say, oh, I was just doing my job, I was just following orders. And I don't think you'd like that for me if I said to you, well, I'm a part of a gang, I'm just doing what I'm told to do. Sure. I don't think you'd appreciate that from me, so I don't appreciate that from you guys. And I'm not saying you're a bad person, Miss Brown, by any sense of the imagination. But I think when you put on that uniform, you are putting yourself in a position to enforce tyranny. So that's kind of the perspective I take on it.
I just think you got to narrow it down to each individual contact that we make, because we make so many contacts, and every contact can be better, right?
I've heard that.
Any advice on it, feel free to contact me.
I understand that perspective, but I look at it in a totality. All across the country, laws are written that infringe. They violate constitutional rights, and all across the country, law enforcement who wear that badge are put in the position to enforce those tyranny infringements, tyranny actions, I believe. So at a certain point, when I start seeing, I used to respect the police a lot, when I start seeing the police stand up and say, we're not enforcing that, it's anti-constitutional, we're not going to come out and prey on people for stupid things, we're going to do our job, but we're not going to be anti-constitutional. When I start seeing police and departments and at the heads, the upper echelons, the command staff doing that and standing up and saying, no, our department doesn't do that. When I start seeing that, then I'll start believing you guys have a mind of your own. Until then, you're kind of autonomous, like robots. You just kind of do what you're told for the most part.
Well, man, it sounds like you're trying to make the world a better place.
Quick question: how many of you think what she really meant was, well, it sounds like I need to get the hell out of here? That's it.
So I appreciate
Maybe.
that.
You have a nice day. I'm sorry, I forgot to ask. Did you have your body cam on for that encounter?
I turned it on right as we left. I forgot I turned it off after.
So it
this
wasn't on when we
contact.
just...
It was the 2 minutes until we stopped, and then now I just initiated it, but I forgot.
How much of our conversation did you get? I'm trying to decide if I'm doing. That's it? Okay, that's fine.
I can go back and pre-record.
No,
if you
that's
think it's important.
no, it's not. I got it on here. It's just normally when I get recorded by you guys, just to make sure I get a copy of what you have, I do an open records request and get all the stuff. But
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, 2 minutes of it, and then right now it's recording it.
I'm not worried about it then.
Okay.
You have a good day. Be safe, ma'am. I better hit this crosswalk button, or she might give me a jaywalking ticket.
And just to aggravate people who think I talk too much, because I don't really care. Again, I'll say there are arguably good people, depending upon your definition, that wear that uniform. And then there's some bad people that do as well. But the problem is, all of them, once they put that uniform on, are stormtroopers for tyrants. They are either tyrants themselves or tyrants by extension. They enforce unconstitutional laws every minute, and then will be called upon to do so, even if they aren't now. And their excuse is always, I'm just doing my job. I just have to do my job. I was just following orders. And history shows they are used as such, and they are now being used as such, as the stormtroopers, the enforcers of tyranny. As such, regardless of her professionalism, politeness, I do not for a second consider it impossible, nor can I discount her having ulterior motives for her consensual contact, such as to be able to articulate cause for further investigation, such as, but not limited to, temporary detention, interrogation, demand for ID, pat-down search, with hopes of being able to articulate full search and or arrest. You may have your own opinions, and that is what so many have raised their right hand to fight and die for in many conflicts, and that is your First Amendment right, and that is what freedom is. If you can do so and have those opinions and express them on the topic, so be it. If you can't, I can help you find another channel that gives a flying raccoon's fornication about you and your crap by dismissing you with extreme prejudice. Consider it my good deed for the day when I help motivate you to find another channel. If you don't know by now, I honestly couldn't give a shite less about the subscriber count, nor someone disliking my opinions, my approach, nor my comments. Carry on.
What I found today is you guys are being used as stormtroopers against we the people's rights.
Stormtroopers, huh?